Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So I do apologize, yesterday I could not upload, I was busy, and today I'm actually uploading pretty late, way later than usual, and I'm not turning on a webcam because it'll just be, it's a bit more editing with that thing, so just to get this video out as fast as possible. So again, I said that these videos may be a bit less frequent, hopefully at least 4 to 5 times a week, but maybe not every day like I have into the winter, as right now it's very busy for me. Okay. If you guys, before we do, would like to consider to subscribe to this channel, if you enjoy this content, obviously, if you're new, watch the videos first, and leave a comment if you just, with letting me know how your day was. Okay, let's get into this. So, I want to start off, as you see by the title, we have the title blaring, the threat for storms, or winter storms, depending on where you live, is increasing. Okay, so, that's true. And that's what we'll be talking about. First, though, I want to look at the high range models and show you what they're showing. So, not high range, high res short range models. Okay, so this is the HER model, and notice that right now, currently, this is what it's portraying across Kansas and Colorado. This is what's happening. We have a bit of rain and snow. It dropped a bit of snow and rain in some areas, quite a bit across California, Southern California, and to Arizona and New Mexico. Notice this thing is pretty compact, but it's spinning away, and it's almost stationary for several hours with that heavy rain across Kansas and snow across Colorado. So definitely a few inches of snow, probably more. I would say more like maybe even a few inches of rain could fall in some locations. They need the rain across Kansas and into, say, Texas, Oklahoma. Obviously not flooding. No one really needs flooding. That's a bad thing. But notice that it does eventually move away. It shouldn't be a deluge, right? But definitely some steady rain pushing into Oklahoma at this point. Shifting out of Kansas, and notice, right, it shifts into more of Oklahoma City, Arkansas. It weakens, so if you want rain and you're over there, fortunately, you may not get as much. I know that Arkansas has been absolutely slammed with rain in terms of the melting snow and the rain that they got after that. And thankfully it does weaken as it pushes away. However, earlier, a couple days ago, we were talking about how this could intensify as it moves into Florida, to the peninsula of Florida. And if we were to take a glance at the models, they have really kind of agreed on that. So notice, right, as it moves through the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Texas, Dallas, very light rain, pretty much spring showers, right? And then as you push this forward, you can see that this low pressure does intensify. It does pick up a bit of steam. This is now into Saturday around midday. And notice, right, a bit of rain, pretty widespread across the Florida area. And that's pretty much it, just Florida and the Caribbean areas and areas surrounding. We can see it does intensify even more as it pushes away, but does not really affect the East Coast as this polar vortex. Kind of, I should just say, a jet stream trough. Polar vortex is a bit further to the north, pushes this away. But notice another thing I want to say, very warm conditions anywhere east of, I would say, the Mississippi. Sorry, anywhere west of the Mississippi. The Northwest is chilly, but then in between, I would say, Idaho and Mississippi, and from north to south, warm, even to southern Canada. But the east will be stuck under this little trough that's kind of bringing those chilly conditions, but warming gradually day by day. Okay, let's take a look at those storm systems. So I do want to show you that some of the models are, a lot of them, all of them are disagreeing on this, right? Most of them are showing a system this upcoming Tuesday into Monday. That's our first area to watch for across the Midwest. But there will be more active weather ongoing really starting today across the West. So notice, right, we have a storm system about to move in. It has at this point because this model was from noon. This is portrayal at 6 p.m. So you can see it has moved in ever since. Right, a bit of rain, a bit of snow, not getting further far inland, but you can see it eventually does push into the Oregon, Washington, into Northern California. Maybe a bit of rain to Southern California. Doesn't look like this system will focus your areas. And notice that thing just dies out. It's one of those systems that will just get absolutely eaten up by that mountainous terrain. And notice we have a second one pushing in right after that. This one's something to watch for. Could be a pretty bigger, it could be definitely bigger than the first one, especially for the Midwest. So look, right, it's kind of just meanders. It gets a bit more moisture from ongoing systems. This is now Monday. And look, a lot of snow potential across Idaho, especially since it could be falling lightly and then picking up in intensity through around Monday, Tuesday, and even eventually into Wednesday. As it moves out into the plains, lots of wind. I mean, we have a pretty strong low pressure, right, and a very strong high pressure, and they're both spinning in opposite directions. High pressures in the northern hemisphere spin clockwise, and low pressure spin counterclockwise. And you can see that's just going to create kind of like a wind tunnel, just like a absolutely 50 to 60 mile per hour southerly wind, which is obviously going to warm things up, but it could be a bit too excited there. Notice that as this pushes off, this low pressure gets its act together pretty far to the north. This rain snow line is very far to the north. A bit of rain. This is the European intake on this. Notice it's not very well developed. The low pressure itself is relatively strong, 994, but the precip, right, there's snow, there's a bit of rain, but it comes in with these little waves, and you can see it's rather disorganized. Finally, some sort of a cold front starts taking shape with some heavy rain across more of the Midwest. This is now into Thursday and into Friday. You can see it kind of stretches out, but doesn't completely disappear. It just stalls out, and look at that. It pushes a system, kind of the remnants of that cold front and new moisture from it. Another system that kind of came into the west at around the time of Thursday while the original system was still going on. You can see it right there, it blows up. Now, you can see it does bring some snow and sleet into central Illinois, Indiana, according to this model. Again, it's probably going to change as these models have been a bit disappointingly inaccurate in the past several days, and they've been just jumping all over the place. But that's as expected with these large systems. So notice after that, well, it seems quiet, but I guarantee you if we were to play this forward, you would see the system blow up in some form, way, or shape. Maybe in more of a snowy side, and there's quite a few models that actually show that snowy side. Okay, GFS parallel, probably the second best model to the European. Notice it takes that system today across the plains and kind of dives it into the south. Late rain, really nothing too heavy, but look, it does do a bit of intensification across Florida, maybe across extreme portions of southern Florida. Some thunderstorms, pretty severe ones, or sorry, not severe, but pretty strong ones with some heavy rain, maybe some hail, and lightning, of course. And notice we have that, that cool air mass and that very, very warm air mass. And as we see this pushes into forward, by the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, it's now pushing into the Great Lakes. And it was very just potentially records broken across the Dakota, Nebraska area, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas. Very, very warm air. But because of this air being so warm, all these systems that track through, and this has been kind of the change for the past several days. You can see instead of just going from west to east, right, on a straight track, they are riding along this baroclinic zone, and that's kind of where a lot of these storm tracks go. And you can see this one takes the exact track, rides along this ridge, and look, it drops a bit of rain, snow very far to the north, relatively speaking, in terms of the rain snow line. It should be further to the south on average, but notice we have a system that kind of sneaks down a bit further south as it kind of capitalizes on this low pressure cold front, which pushes a bit of that warm air out. This low pressure swoops in, and you can see right there, Minnesota, Wisconsin, UP, Michigan, picking up on some rain. And notice that the format of this system 130 hours out is completely different than what the European model is showing. I mean, it's like a wave of two systems. Neither of them are strong, really. And then notice a bit of rain, bit of snow, warm air at this point, very warm air into the East Coast, not so much in the north at this point. And then continued activity. Look at that, another low pressure with a lot of rain, southerly moisture available to work in with that. A bit of snow, you can see kind of like a cold trough developing. And look, maybe even the coastal areas picking up on some snow showers and some more rain. In the longer range, towards the midway of March, look at that. We get snow chances where tomorrow there could be, and into this weekend, 60 to 70 degrees, right? So changeable weather. And look at that. It develops a system and drops snow across the Northeast with this one yet again. And pretty chilly, kind of a cool off. And then notice we have more systems moving into the Northwest. So in terms of total snowfall, just through 240 hours, you can see this is what they're expecting. Again, that's not really including the systems across the Northeast or mid-plains, as this is only 240 hours out. If we were to take a look at the total accumulated precipitation, 384 hours out, you can see it's definitely decent, especially further to the north across the Ohio Valley. Unfortunately, it does look a bit similar to the areas that have had a lot of that previous rain, so not that good of a news, but notice there is quite a bit across the west, and those areas need that. I could show you what the European thinks in the next 10 days, 240. You can see it centers a lot of that rain from that first low pressure, and that's kind of that stalled out cold front across the Ozarks and into the mid-Mississippi Valley. But this is just one of the many storms I want to show you now the GFS model. This model is on Tropical Tidbits. It's slightly different website, and I prefer it for different each website has its own pluses and minuses. Notice, right, we have our low pressure today, drops a bit of rain, and look at that as it swoops away through Florida and way off the East Coast, and pretty cold across the East, warm everywhere else. And at one point on Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday time frame, there could be very minimal precip falling. I don't think it's ever happened across the U.S. There has never been precip falling at one given point. And at this point, there will be probably, you can see, either rain showers in the south, across Texas, or very far to the north, or the system making its way here. And notice, Idaho, Montana, right, starting to pick up on that moisture again. A huge ridge, according to the GFS. A bit bigger, sorry, that's the dryer over there. A bit bigger than what they previously thought, which is why these low pressures can't really dip down and intensify as much, but they're just kind of more left out to just scurry on along this ridge. And you can see that the first system, the European, developed pretty well. This model develops rain, a bit of snow, and drags a powerful cold front behind it, which gives way to another system. But again, it's further to the north and not as classic shaped of for a spring system. And notice we do start seeing another system brew here. A lot of snow potentially for Denver, Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas. I do want to say that March is the snowiest month of the year for cities like Denver, so it's nothing unusual here. And notice that this system does something like what the European was showing, or the GFS version 16, sorry, and you can see snow pretty far to the south. Most would be surprised by this, I would too. And you can see that we are left with a bit of cold air kind of forked out. One area right here, another area right there, and we have a low pressure that drops potentially more rain, more snow. A lot of activity, and not all of this could just be rain. Some of this could bring some snow, and surprisingly still pretty far to the south for this time of the year. I do want to show you that in terms of the European tables, I want to take a look at this. EPS members. So I was looking at the one from yesterday. There were some pretty wild scenarios with these storm systems, especially further out. Some are showing a snowstorm as far as like the Tennessee Valley, which again is not completely impossible, but unlikely. Let's take a look at this first system, right? According to the Europeans, you can see that this is what one ensemble shows, and this is what one shows. Right? Where was it? You just saw one right there showed a system of snow pretty far to the south. And let's just pick a random one, leave it at this, and show you what this random ensemble shows. So you can see snow very far to the north, right? Rain developing into this really Thursday, Friday. Doesn't really bring much rain into the Tuesday time frame. Right there. A lot of rain, more snow, pretty far to the south compared to that first one. And you can see Green Bay, Milwaukee, Michigan picking up on some snow. And more rain following that. Pretty good amount right there, and more snow with this system. And as we track this even further, you can see that expands into a beast across Canada. Another system moves in onto the northwest, pretty snow covered. I mean, maybe even Portland getting on some snow right there. The northwest could be pretty chilly at times here in the long range, according to some of these models. And look, we have a snowstorm that develops, kind of far to the south, bringing snow to Indiana, Michigan. And that is that. And you can see more activities on the west. Look at that. Some of these models just show absolutely ridiculous scenarios. I mean, you can see this one right here, and it just starts developing a beast. And that brings a lot of snow to many areas. So definitely dynamic. Look at this one, potentially some sort of a nor'easter. Look at that. I know there's a lot of folks that were disappointed across the east with the snow this year. The Middle East, I should say. Mid-East coast. And then notice right there a bit of snow, and maybe across some Illinois. So very active. A lot of models don't agree, but in general, if you're to reset the navigation and just take a look at the EPS, which is just a composite, all these models, and let's take a look at the snowfall and see where they favor the most amount of snow. Obviously, probably further to the north and east here, where it's chilly right now. But in the longer range, you could see that there are models that are showing decent amounts of snow. Way more in the long range and the short range. Obviously, right now we're in a warm phase, but you can see it could get a bit more active, favoring overall the 51 models. Members are favoring kind of the Midwest and the West, not so much the Northeast. But again, this is very far out for an average look. And the more obvious one that's a bit more striking is just the precipitation that will fall, and this is rain, snow, or anything in between. And notice, right, first the west is favored, then we start seeing those systems across the Midwest, right? Look at that. Not bad amounts of rain. And, for some locations, this is a nightmare. Unfortunately, you could see 2-3 inches on top of what they had. You wouldn't, preferably some of this could fall further to the north and west, but not bad amounts for California either. I know I should have finished this video a bit earlier, but let's just take a look at the GEFS. Again, a bunch of ensembles put together, and let's take a look at its snowfall ensemble. It seems like these models may be a bit more excited about the snowfall opportunities. And you can see a bit more favored, a bit more coverage with that. And in terms of total precipitation, again, anything from rain to snow and anything in between. Similar track or similar trend, heavier rain across kind of the Midwest, the central part of the country, and the West. Not so much the North or the extreme South. But, look at that. Some locations getting up to 2-3 inches here for. All right, that's basically for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.